Party crashers. Every party has got them. The college football playoff is no exception. This year was TCU that showed up, crashed the party on Michigan, played for a national title. They got beat very badly in the national title game. I understand that. Who is the party crasher? Who could be a potential party crasher in 2023 for the college football playoff when this whole thing goes down in Houston? I guess the national title's in Houston. Who could be the party crasher? You hear what I'm saying here? I think Florida State deserves a ton of conversation because at the end of the year, I don't know if there was a team hotter than the Seminoles. Now, how would this go about happening? How could Florida State end up playing for a national title? The narrative used to be you got to win the ACC, you got to be undefeated. Listen, a lot of folks within the ACC have upped their game. I don't know that you have to be undefeated anymore. Got to win the conference. I don't think that's a stretch. I think you do it with one loss. Now, would you like to be undefeated? For sure. But Florida State, I think, has a very good chance to make some noise. And if you're picking a team that's maybe the dark horse, Florida State's not a bad place to put your dollars and your cents because there's a lot of common sense there. The first thing that would have to happen in my mind for them to get to the college football playoff, your quarterback, Jordan Travis, said, run that back, Turbo. Leo DiCaprio season, I'm not leaving. Coming back for another year. He took a huge step from 2021 to 2022. Look at the numbers. 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 1,500 yards passing in 2021. It's nice. Didn't play the whole season, missed a couple of games. But in 2022, 24 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, only 5 picks. He made a believer out of me. Not to mention what he did with his legs. Was also a dual threat on the ground. So Jordan Travis, if he can take even another step, he's already solidified himself as one of the top players in the country. If he can take even another step and be one of the top quarterbacks in the country or a top 5 quarterback in the country, I think that would be what has to happen because they lean on him so much to be the catalyst, which is what all good teams do. Your quarterback stirs the drink for you. Him taking another step in production, I think, is required because they scored 35 points a year ago on offense. It's good for top 20 in the country. If they can even ratchet up another notch, like we say, like Emerald, bang, kick it up another notch, around 40 points a game, I think that would make you a very competitive team for the college football playoff if you're producing those kind of numbers, all right? If you haven't yet subscribed, would love to have y'all, man. We've had a ton of the Florida State faithful join us here recently, so we thank you for that. We're glad to have you within the program, glad to have you at the party. If you haven't yet joined us, go ahead and subscribe. No time like the present. We got college football content coming all year long. A lot of other programs take some time off here, going to get their vacation in. That's great. We appreciate that. We're not going to do that. We got you. Like I said, year-round, the hard count rolls, the party rolls on. We're also live on Tuesday and Thursdays, 1 Central, 2 Eastern, a great way for us to interact. Also, follow me on the socials at JD Piquel on Twitter and on Instagram. Golly, no huddle offense. How about that? The next thing that has to happen for Florida State to crash the CFP party, the trenches need to take another step. They need to get a little bit tougher because last year allowed 161 yards rushing per game. You got some guys. Jared Verse, he also said, run that back, Turbo. I'm coming back for another year. That's a huge addition. Unfinished business kind of vibe. You have to be tough in the trenches. Like, there's just no other way to say it. TCU scored a lot of points and were able to offset how much they didn't do in the trenches. But you look at Michigan, you look at Georgia, you look at Ohio State for the majority of the year. Those were good front 7 football teams. In the linebacker and defensive line play, those were really solid teams. And for Florida State, that is something that I think needs to be a reality for them to make the college football playoff. They got some really good personnel, so I don't think that's going to be the thing that just holds them back. But tough teams play big games in December and January. Not saying Florida State's not tough. I think to make the college football playoff, though, you need to get tougher, okay? Because if a team can just take the air out of the ball and pick up first down after first down and just wear on you, I mean, that's going to keep you from achieving your goal, right? Like, it's going to keep you from playing the kind of game that you can play. Because then guess what happens? Jordan Travis has to sit on the sideline with a towel and a Gatorade and just watch the game unfold. Being tough in the trenches is an attitude thing, but it's a gameplay thing too. It allows the better parts of your team to all contribute to the game, as opposed to just defense stays out there, defense stays out there, defense stays out there. You feel me? So that needs to be the next step. Now, Mike Norvell has done a great job in the transfer portal. Gotten some absolute dogs, you know what I'm saying? Got Fentrell Cypress, got Jaheim Bell, 2 guys that I think will contribute for you right away. For them to make the college football playoff, these transfers have to mesh. When I say mesh, they have to integrate themselves seamlessly into the culture of your locker room. Because in the day and age of the transfer portal, great teams are going to adapt that way. And when you add a lot of transfers, as we anticipate Mike Norvell to continue to do at Florida State, you have to get on board with our culture. And they've done a great job now with Mike Norvell establishing a culture that is worth protecting and worth maintaining. Anytime you add new ingredients to a recipe, there is the possibility it will either make that recipe and that dish better, it'll add flavor, it'll add some sustenance, it'll add nutrition, or it could sour it. It won't mix well. It'll taste funny. It'll ruin the dish. So I'm not saying that's the case right now. I'm saying that's the risk you run by adding more ingredients. But less isn't always more. Sometimes more is more. So that's the thing that we got to watch. Can those transfers mesh well from a culture standpoint? Because we know they can ball on the field. We know they're guys that are going to produce on Saturdays between the white lines. Can they mesh with the culture? I've said it before. I'll say it one more time for us here. Mike Norvell and Florida State have a beautiful dating relationship. Winning 9 games is like dating. It's fun. It is fantastic. 9 games in the regular season, that is. I believe they got to 10 after winning the bowl game. That's fun. We're all about that. It's exciting, a little bit new as of recent history from Mike Norvell's time there. It's great. We've been building towards this. However, there's a point in time in the dating relationship where you got to determine the relationship, right? Hey, are we going to get married? Is this a forever thing? Are we going to put a ring on this? An ACC title ring on this? I think now is the time. And if you put an ACC title ring on this, I think you feel really good about putting a national college football playoff berth on this. National title, shoot, you get in the dance, anything can happen, all right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. So for college football playoff aspirations to come true for Florida State, Jordan Travis, take that next step, brother. Made a great step from 2021 to 2022. Can you make another step in 23? If you do, this team's going to score a lot of points. You're going to be really dangerous. The trenches, put the hammer down. For the sake of just having some toughness and attitude for sure, which they have that, but they could add to that by being a better run football team, a run defense football team, but also a gameplay standpoint. You get a stop on 3rd and 2. Jordan Travis gets to take the football and score some more points for you. That's a good thing. The transfers added a lot of ingredients. Can they mesh well into this recipe that Mike Norvell has now created in Tallahassee? So I'm excited to see it. Every party's got one. Every college football playoff has got a party crasher. This upcoming year, could it be Florida State? I think it's very possible for the reasons I already mentioned. We appreciate you rocking with us. This has been the Hard Count. Nick, break, lift, and heavy, doing every single thing that you see here. But this is your show. This is your program. We are live Tuesdays and Thursdays on the On3 YouTube channel. Hit the bell. Make sure you're locked in and notified for when that does happen. Would love to have you there in the live chat. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for allowing us to do this as a job. Something we do not take for granted, and excited to continue to keep building this community together. Okay? We appreciate you. We love you. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.